Have you ever read a recipe that called for greasing a dish and wondered what the heck does that mean? Well, after watching today's video, you'll not only know what that means, but how to do it. Hello and welcome to I Wanna Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. But it can be hard to be a better cook when you're reading a recipe and you don't even know what the instructions mean. It seems sometimes they just assume you know what to do. And one of those cases is when a recipe asks you to grease a dish. So I'll cut to the chase. All it means to grease a dish or pan is to coat the bottom and sometimes the sides in butter, oil, or a similar type of fat. Usually it's used in roasting or baking. And the reason why you want to grease a dish is simply to help food lift out so it doesn't stick when you're done cooking it. Now, as I mentioned, greasing a dish usually involves either oil or butter. If you are using butter, it's best if you melt it first, or if it's soft enough, then you can kind of smear it on. Yet another reason to have your butter at room temperature. It's more pliable that way. Now at this point you might be wondering, well, if you're using oil or butter, why is it called greasing? I mean, it's not like you're underneath a car, lubing up a chassis. Well, my best answer to that is it goes back to the old days when you would commonly save the drippings or the grease from meat that you were cooking, like bacon or chicken. People would then use those drippings to cook with, or in the case of baking, maybe greasing a pan. Now, I still do this. This here is grease from bacon that I save, and I still use it occasionally. I'll use it when maybe I'm cooking eggs or something where I actually want kind of that bacon flavor as well as that nice unctuous mouthfeel that you get from something like grease. And that brings up another point to keep in mind when you are greasing a dish is the flavor that it can give to the food. Now, if you're baking a cake, you're probably not going to want to use bacon grease. Or I don't know, maybe you are, because savory and sweet can be really good. But if you're just making something basic like cake or muffins and you just want something that has a neutral flavor, it's best just to use like a vegetable oil, or you could even use vegetable shortening or even a non-stick spray. So that's what it means to grease a pan, and I'll give you an example. I'm gonna make some cornbread and the recipe calls for greasing the dish. So I'll show you what that means and what the results are because we grease the dish. So I've mixed my batter, and this recipe calls for greasing a 9 by 9 inch baking pan. So I just have a nice casserole dish here, one of my favorites, and I am just going to use some vegetable oil to grease this dish. So this is all it is, folks. I'm just going to pour some in, and I just like to take my fingers. You can also use a spatula, but your fingers work right just as well. And we're just going to kind of smear it on the bottom here and just kind of coat the bottom. I also like to coat the sides because that's going to help it not stick to the sides when this bakes. So there we go. That's all it is. You've just greased a pan. Now I'm going to pour in my batter and we're going to bake some cornbread. And by the way, if you notice that my kitchen looks a little bit different, it's not your eyes. We're doing some painting. So yes, a little whiter and brighter in here. I've pulled the cornbread out of the oven, I've let it cool, and as you can see, because we greased that dish, when we cut it up and lifted it out of the pan, there's a lot less mess, and that also means a lot less mess to clean up too. So that's all it means to grease a pan. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so glad you are here. As always, if you have any questions or anything that you want to know how to cook, please put that in the comments below and maybe I'll get to it on a future episode. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope that you want to cook.